also.
By the way, from the 2-1, I agree, 2-1-0, what do you think? Tech, Oklahoma State, K-State, Houston to the Pac-12, Texas mark entry recruiting.
I don't think
that's kind of a potpourri. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State being connected somewhere might make sense because they both reminded me of each other just because I've covered them forever. TCU, Baylor, Kansas State, Iowa State. But the Houston thing, we've talked about this before. Yes, it's the market, but they don't by any means have any kind of a true blip on the radar when it comes to TV terms, although it is Houston. SMU's in Dallas, same thing. We've said this before. Tulane, New Orleans, same thing. Even I love the Frogs, right? Baylor fans like, what the hell's happened to Smokey?
Yeah, what has happened?
No, I respect TCU. Not everybody, but I do. And we had a guest on with Brian Estridge earlier this week. They don't control the Fort Worth market, even when they're really, really, really good. We've been to Amon Carter. We've seen it empty. We've been to McLean Stadium, and we've seen it, sparse. And a lot of that's because the alumni base, no matter even if there's a lot. I tell you what, one thing that Baylor fans, I'm going to say this to you, and even K-State fans or Iowa State fans or TCU fans, when there's a game and you're going to see, let's say, Fort Worth right now, or even Stillwater, which is a little bit longer of a drive, Oklahoma City, Norman, Texas. If there are 2,500 seats available for an event and 160 of you buy tickets, shame on you. The one thing I have said this, and I will say this about Baylor fans, you want to be included in the Power Five, and damn, you've done a good job as an athletic department to be a part of that. But there's a lot of, it's at 11, it's at 6, the game's in a weeknight. That's going to have to stop if you're going to go into, again, take this to the next level. Baylor will spend all the money you want them to. But those are things that still I bet, bother the hell out of the athletic department.
I mean, what? The Baylor athletic, like what? The lack of attendance?
If the game's at 11, it's too early. If it's at 6 o'clock, it's too late.
What did Oklahoma just complain about for the last year?
I am talking about going to the game, not where the games kick off on television.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I mean, I don't think if they suddenly start selling out every week, and they do pretty well in that regard, I don't know that all of a sudden you're considered to go be headed towards another tier. I mean, it's also half the size of, most of the stadiums we were just talking about in the SC. I know what you mean, though. Like, fan support is what it was ultimately going to back all of this, because where do the financials come from? They come from the fans. Where do the ticket money, all that? That's from the fans. So one thing you could say about the SEC is, as much as I don't really like the way that they sort of band together and take kind of credit for just the entire conference's successes, maybe it's just because I'm not used to it, because the Big 12 obviously hated each other, and so nobody wanted to take credit for everybody else's successes. Like, more or less, they were like pissed that another team in the conference would win something. They have pride for days, and they pack stadiums and they travel well, and I would imagine that a lot of people are excited about being able to travel to Austin and Norman to just to see something different. But especially for Oklahoma and Texas fans, I know a lot of them out there are already like very stoked about heading to Tuscaloosa and to Athens and Gainesville, etc. So yeah, that'll be cool. But yeah, fan support is where it starts.
All right, anything to summarize this week? Armstrong, did you have